If you saw this creature and had to guess what it was, what would you say? Most would say a large worm or a weird-looking snake, maybe even a legless lizard. But what if I told you it wasn't any of those? Meet the Caecilian. Caecilians are a group of legless amphibians. Yeah, amphibians, just like frogs and salamanders. But they're also extremely different than their relatives. From their birth to their lifestyle, these creatures are like no other you've ever experienced. So let's explore them. Hey guys, it's Ollie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome to our second episode of Exploring Exotics, where we dive into some interesting creatures. Let's go ahead and start exploring. Found in small pockets ranging from Central Africa, Southeast Asia, and Central and South America, there are roughly 200 species of Caecilians known to science. Their size varies on their species. They can be anywhere from 3.5 inches, like the Idiocranium russell, or 5 feet, like the Caecilia thompsoni. They prefer loose soil and leaf litter in tropical rainforests, or near rivers and streams. And some Caecilians are even aquatic, where they live in lowland rivers and streams. And the first things that you may have noticed about Caecilians are their lack of legs and their small, barely visible eyes. Caecilians don't even have vestigial legs anymore. These things together suggest that they did have legs at one point, but that was very long ago. Because of this, they are considered tetrapods, despite their lack of actual limbs. And their small eyes are usually covered by a layer of skin or even bone. They have terrible eyesight and only seem to be able to detect light. Their name even derives from the Latin word for blind. But don't let that fool you, they can still move around just fine. Caecilians navigate by a tiny pair of chemical-sensitive tentacles on their face, and by feeling vibrations in the ground. They are also the only amphibians to have said tentacles. And despite their squishy appearance, they actually have very strong, hard, and rigid skulls. They use these to, of course, burrow into the ground. But why do they have these things? Why lose their limbs? Why lose their eyesight? These all seem like terrible things for you to do during evolution. And the fact of it is, we don't really have the answer, but we can speculate that it is from their fossorial lifestyle. Fossorial meaning that they have adapted to live underground. The next thing you might notice is that they have what looks like segmented bodies, sort of like worms and millipedes. But they don't have segments at all. The skin is rigid, with folds called annuli, with some having small fish-like scales in the rings. These are the only amphibians known to have scales. Caecilians also come in many colors, most of them being grays, blues, and purples, and are usually more on the dull and darker side. But others are really bright yellows and oranges. These colors let predators know that Caecilians are not a safe snack and that they should be avoided. And it's not a bluff. Caecilians have toxic glands in their skin that help protect them from predators. And again, their features will deceive you. Inside of most Caecilians' mouth are dozens of needle-like teeth. They use these teeth to catch their prey. This can be anywhere from earthworms to termites, mollusks, small snakes, lizards, and frogs, and even other Caecilians. And to make it even worse, all of their food is swallowed whole. So now let's address what everyone is probably having some questions about. Caecilians are amphibians. Although they're not exactly amphibian looking, they do have the qualifications to make them an amphibian. Their bones, teeth, skin, and other structures show that they are related to salamanders and frogs. Let me explain a little bit further. Basically, there are 3 orders of amphibians. You have Anura, or frogs, Caudata, or salamanders, Gymnophiona, or Caecilians. Amphibians are characterized as being small vertebrates that need water or damp environments to survive. They are also ectothermic, meaning that they rely on the environment to give them heat. They also have cutaneous respiration, meaning that at least to some degree they can breathe through their skin. They have skin with many mucus glands, and their unborn or unhatched young do not have an amniotic sac. And speaking of eggs, let's get on to the life cycle of Caecilians because it is bizarre. Caecilians can give birth one of two ways depending on their species. Some of them are oviparous, meaning that they lay eggs, and some are viviparous, meaning that they give live birth. Most species of oviparous Caecilians will lay 30 to 60 eggs per clutch, while the viviparous Caecilians can give birth from anywhere between 2 and 25 young, again depending on the species. And one of the weirdest things we're going over with Caecilians today, at least 3 species that we know of Caecilians feed their young through something called maternal dermatophagy, which is when the young will eat a layer of the mother's skin. In these 3 species, the mother Caecilian will have an extra layer of skin that is very rich in fat and other nutrients for the babies. And of course, the young eat this skin by tearing off pieces. They are the only tetrapod that we know of to do this. The mother Caecilian is also very maternal. She will guard her eggs until they hatch, and then stay with them for about 4 to 6 weeks, which is nearly unheard of for amphibians. They don't usually nurture their young. Once the babies will get old enough, they will simply venture off on their own. It's not super clear how long Caecilians live, since it's so hard to research them in the wild, but in captivity they are known to live up to 13 years old. There is still a ton of mystery surrounding the lives and biology of Caecilians. We are likely missing species and even missing families of Caecilians. The last family that I know of that was discovered in 2012, and we know that the ones that we do know exist are still hard to find. We really don't even have super accurate range maps for most of these Caecilians, since their populations are so spaced out and they live underground in rainforests, making it hard to dig or even impossible to dig. And the ones that don't live there live in murky waters. You basically have to just be lucky and be at the right place at the right time to find a Caecilian. We also can't even say their population status. We have no idea if the populations are thriving or if they're really struggling to hang on, meaning that we don't know the conservation efforts that we should be taking with these amphibians. Caecilians are becoming more well known amongst the public, and hopefully because of that rise in popularity, more studies can be done on these creatures and more information can come to light. And that is really all I have to share with you guys today. I really hope you guys liked this episode of Exploring Exotics. If you did, leave a like below to let me know that you want me to continue doing these. I think I'm going to keep making these videos on the bi-weekly basis. If you didn't know, every other week I'm doing one of these Exploring Exotics where we talk about interesting and weird creatures, and the next week I will be doing a more pet content video surrounding my exotic pets. Also, comment down below if you already knew about these creatures. Also, comment down below if you guys have an animal that you want me to talk about on our next episode of Exploring Exotics. All of my links, including my Instagram account, my art Instagram account, my Facebook group, and my wife and I's Etsy shop where we sell various crafts as well as snail protein mix I make for your pet snails. And of course, all of the resources will be down in the description below. Make sure you subscribe if you like this kind of content or really any animal kind of content. I upload every single Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you can hit the bell if you don't want to remember that. And as always, I will see you guys next week. Bye.